Three, two, one. Are we live? Are we live? All right, cool. Spencer Cadigan, host of Sports and Tacos, coming at you with another super amazing edition of Midsummer Sports and Tacos. Web, another amazing edition of Sports and Tacos coming at you. I'm Spencer Cadigan, your host as usual. We have the OG suspects on today, Mr. Tony Pantoja and Mr. Robert Humphreys. I'm not sure what G Unit's up to.
She's having a baby.
I was going to say, Alex Ginzel, is she having a baby? Do you know this?
Well, no, I'm just saying. I know she's close.
I know she's like ready to pop any minute. So
a little Kansas City baby.
Yeah.
I
think G Unit. Yeah, G Unit. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anything from her. No replies or anything. So she could be. Yeah, she could be having a baby for all I know. So
congratulations.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But yeah, just so you know, Max. Normally, Alex Ginzel's on here. She's another
gotcha.
One of our co-hosts. Max, you pronounce it Leahy?
Yeah, Leahy. You're the first person ever to get it right. Every telemarketer, Leahy, something else. So that was good.
Yeah. So and then my buddy Max Leahy.
I was like, you got it right the first time. Come on, now you got
to be is joining us today. He's an ex-MMA fighter, boxer, entrepreneur. I guess kind of man about town around L.A. in general. You're from back east originally?
Yeah, I'm from New York originally. Yep, that's where I actually fought boxing. Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, we'll talk some MMA, talk some boxing, probably talk a little baseball. Just kind of try and fill an hour. We're sort of right now is the dog days of Sports and Tacos, unless you're big into baseball, because football.
Yes.
Football was just on the brink.
Yes. You got the Women's World Cup going on. You got baseball, the Tour de France. I know I'm talking sports and most people don't watch, but yes. Training camp just started for this week too. So
yeah. So I was wondering about that, Bama. I was asking a buddy at work the other day. Have players actually started to report? I mean, is it officially begun?
I want to say it's this week. I'm sorry, I was up. At work today behind the bar. We have NFL Network on behind. They had a big thing about the Broncos training camp starting, so I'm assuming that it starts. I'd say probably the end of this week. I mean, it's got to be, dude. It's already the end of freaking July.
Yeah, well, I know
preseason games start pretty soon.
I know it's soon. I'm just not sure if.
And I did see Kansas City Chiefs guys going into camp today. That's a shout out to G Unit right there. Yes, they were going in with pads. Yes, so yes, training camp has started for some teams, maybe not for all.
Right. Yeah, I think it's.
But they'll be tomorrow or the next day. It is football season already, and where the heck does summer go?
Yeah,
college football, go blue.
Yeah, I'm sure spring training camp has started for most colleges and stuff. So
no, pros are starting too now. No, colleges already started their stuff. Yes,
I know colleges already started their actual practices and stuff. But I think some teams report a little bit different days, But I have a feeling that by this weekend, all the teams, I'm pretty sure, will be reported. All camps probably will be open by this weekend. Because today's Monday.
Preseason games start in like 3 weeks right now. I mean, it's like a week away from August.
Yeah. So the point is right now, is a good time if we're going to dive into, kind of, I guess, at least for.
Well, all right, but real quick, shotgun.
We'll dive into MMA stuff. That's why it's a great time to have an MMA guy and somebody who is a boxer on. It's not that often when football season begins that we have a chance to, talk about alternate sports once football season starts. So that's why it's great to have you on, Max.
Heck
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know
So-
once football season starts, that's pretty much it. So that's all everybody follows once it starts.
Yeah, and we're trying to step. That's kind of the reason I was having some difficulties. Is we're trying to step our technology game up, and it's weird to step it up on my end. I have to literally go back to my old laptop because we have like I was telling you, we have a big fish coming on next week, who hopefully can get us to some real big fish. We should be having
Nice.
big time guests on coming up, especially for this football season.
No, I was going to ask Spencer, where are you at? Because are you at the same place always? You at your place?
No, I'm over at a buddy's house who actually has an Ethernet cable. I've got to I can't even remember the last time I didn't use Wi-Fi. I mean, but when you have lots of guests on the StreamYard, it's a pretty powerful software. You have to have. They suggest strongly you have plug-in Ethernet internet. And that's why in the past when we've had like 5, 6, 7 people on, I cut out occasionally. So
but you might be getting laggy. Yeah, you need a stronger Wi-Fi or stronger Ethernet.
Yeah. So basically, I'm over at a buddy's house who has Ethernet, and then I'm gonna have to get Ethernet in my place. But anyways, so Max, anytime we have anytime we have somebody new on, I like to get your background, kind of your backstory, sort of.
Yeah.
Where are you from? How did you get into MMA and boxing? That kind of stuff. So just kind of introduce yourself as a guest. So
yeah, no problem. My name is Max Leahy. I grew up in New York, Metro New York, outside New York City. We're about 45 minutes outside the Bronx in Yorktown Heights. The real reason I actually started boxing, to be totally honest, I was a short kid growing up. When I was like 12 years old, I was barely 5 feet, and I used to get bullied a lot. These were the days where they tell you to man up. There wasn't anti-bullying laws and all that crap, and you man up and you fight back. So my dad is ex-Special Forces, Army Ranger, and he basically was like, well, I'll teach you what I know, but I'm going to get you a boxing coach who's going to do 3 days a week. You'll do training with him, and then next time somebody messes with you, you hit back. So that's exactly what happened. And he actually got me a guy named Dave Tenney, who was at the time the welterweight cutman, or the cutman to the welterweight champion of the world the year before. Very experienced boxer and very experienced cutman. And it would come in, and I would do everything from basic, jab, straights, hooks, all your basic combos, your flips, your weaves, learning all the basics. And then what was very funny is, after 2 years of training and doing this 3 times a week, you think I'm the man, and I had a couple street fights and I won because you're fighting against people that don't know anything. So I get brought to Yonkers PAL, which is like the local gym for boxing. And the first time I ever stepped in the ring with somebody for a 3-round, exhibition match, I got my ass handed to me in like 45 seconds, because it's such a different experience. Going from, it's kind of like when the theory of something and then you go do it in reality. It's a very different practice from theory to reality. And boxing is kind of like a chess game where it's a very fast-paced chess game, but you need to think 3 moves ahead. It's very difficult when you're winded, you're throwing punches, you're blocking punches. And when I first got in the ring, I started getting hit. And immediately all that panic sets in, and you're not thinking about anything but, oh my God, I don't want to get hit anymore. So they actually called the fight in like not even done with the first round, about 2 minutes into the first round, because the guy had me in the corner just pounding my face in. So that was my first fight I ever did. But I didn't get discouraged. I went back and I learned, okay, don't panic. I learned what it feels like to take a hit. I had taken a couple hits in street fights, but it was different. Taking a hit now with all these people watching me. So I learned that, and I went back, and the second time in Yonkers PAL, my second fight, I won. And then after that, I won 7 matches and I lost 3 after that in exhibition matches. I never fought Golden Gloves because I ended up going to college.
Right.
So I just didn't pursue it. And then after that, I went into a little bit of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, not a tremendous amount. And I really ended up going and settling in with Krav Maga, which is the Israeli martial arts they teach the Israeli army. And it's much more applicable to actual street fights, and we learn knife defense, gun defense, multiple opponents, a lot of stuff we do in Krav, and I had 7 years of training in Krav. A lot of stuff that we do is not legal in MMA, like we can kick from guard, so I can have someone guard. I don't know if guys are very familiar with MMA, but if I have my legs wrapped around them, and I'm holding them in guard, I can pull my leg back and kick them in the face, which you can't do in MMA and, cage fight or anything like that. It's more kind of like bare knuckle boxing style. But it was very interesting also because going from a boxing background, when you're in boxing, you're fighting for points, which is why, Mayweather has kind of dominated the sport. Not my favorite boxer. He's an excellent boxer, don't get me wrong. Amazing defensive fighter, but he made boxing a very boring sport to watch. It wasn't like Tyson or any of those where I'm waiting for the big knockout punch and he's throwing big punches. Now I'm like, okay, cool. You're slipping everything and you're looking for a little jab to get the point. It's kind of boring to watch. But I will say the difference of Krav Maga, the main difference between boxing is when you're boxing, you're fighting in a jaded stance because I want to slip my punches going by me. When I'm fighting Krav Maga, I have an open stance because I'm not fighting for points and I want to be able to have the use of my legs to kick you in the face or, throw an offensive kick and kick you in the chest or the sternum, anything like that, or sweep your leg or anything like that. And it's also that ground fighting aspect of MMA, which, again, that's the kind of aspect, if you're not very familiar with mixed martial arts, can also become kind of tiresome for some people to watch that sport because it's very technical. When you're on the ground, it's really that chess match. It's absolutely exhausting while you're there. Every move, you would think stand up would be more exhausting, but being on the ground is actually much more exhausting. And every little move is so technical that it's really a chess game that if you make one wrong mistake and you say I'm doing underhook and overhook and I come over my hand, the guy catches me and pulls me, I'm done. And that's the end of the fight. And you've seen that before in MMA. Like, the guy gets him, locks him up, and the guy's done. That's it. Or puts him in an arm bar or anything else or Kimura, and you're just done. That's the fun stuff to watch when they get to that point. But sometimes they're sitting there on the ground, they're just locked, and it's like, okay, come on, do something. Let me see some knees and elbows. Yeah. So
that's usually when they come and break them up and get them back on their feet, right?
Exactly, because it's not fun for the audience to watch that. Who wants to watch these guys hugging? I want to see some knees and elbows, and I want to see some brutal. Those gloves. Let me tell you too. Those gloves they wear in MMA, it's basically protecting your knuckles, not the guy's face.
Hey, Max, did you do any wrestling when you were in school?
So I did a little bit in high school. I was on the wrestling team in high school. So I learned the basic moves, but again, it varies so much from BJJ and anything. Most of Krav, our ground fighting comes from BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
And like regular wrestling, don't get me wrong, is great foundation, but then there's so many more things you can do when you learn Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's wild.
Right.
Yeah.
Tony, weren't you like a 4-time state champion wrestler over at Lincoln?
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, man. I wrestled since my 8th grade year all the way through senior.
Nice.
It was fun, man. I always wrestled above my weight, but this little guy gets a giant, and man, they were big. Man, they already had hair on their chest. It was crazy.
just so you know, Tony's a bit of a bowling ball. What are you, Tony? About 5'5", 2.
5'4", 5'5", it all depends on what 7-Eleven I come out of.
So actually, it's funny. I used to wrestle bigger guys too. The reason that I stopped fighting Krav, the last guy that I ground fought, I'll show you too. So the guy was 6'4", 240, big guy, and I didn't lose, but I stopped when if I don't know if you can see on camera, I popped my bottom floating rib. So I dislocated my bottom floating rib, and it never really went back into place. So it's a very big detriment now to me because if I'm sparring and someone does kick me where that floating rib was, they can actually crack my sternum and I can die. So I'm like, okay, so I'm very guarded when I fight anything here. And I'll still fight stand-up, but I don't fight ground because of that reason. So, I understand fight people above your weight class.
How do they, when that happens, I mean, other than, I assume some sort of major surgery, is there any way to fix it?
So I did PT, physical therapy, for 12 sessions. And massage it to try and push it back. I do all these stretches where I'm trying to pop it back into place. But 75% of the times it doesn't go back into place. There is a surgery that can cut you open and put a titanium band, but even that isn't guaranteed that it's going to hold it in place. It's very crazy. It's very common too. It's common of an injury in wrestling and BJJ.
Kind of like, have you ever known anybody that's broken their collarbone?
Yep, or rotator cuff. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Very common.
That's freaking.
You watch them on TV. It happens on TV.
Yep.
And you see their knee snap when it's them hitting them in the shin, and their shin, you could see their legs just flapping. It's scary, man. I just see pain. Ow.
I'll tell you the craziest thing I've ever seen like that. In a black there, so it used to be in Krav Maga up until about 6 years ago. To get your black belt, you had to be invited, and you actually have to fly out to Israel and do a 3 8-hour days in a row where you tested and you prove that you were black belt. Yeah. Oh, it's the tests are out of control. My last test, which I'm mid-level Krav Maga, you had to do it was 12 hours straight. The test, and you had to show every technique from every previous belt level, and then at the end of it, spar multiple opponents. It was absolutely wild. So the craziest one I've ever seen for an injury, I was watching a black belt test, and it was now they do it in the U.S. This is in Sherman Oaks in California, and at the Krav Maga Worldwide School, and somebody went to kick the side of their shin, and they hit the guy and hit just the angle, compound fracture, and his bone popped out of the side of his heel, and I'm like, oh, like blood gushing everywhere. It was brutal, absolutely brutal.
Owie.
Yeah, Howie is right.
Another one McGregor's last fight, when I saw him, when he freaking wrapped his freaking shin around, who was he fighting that night?
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, he tried to stand up and only had half a leg and still fell down. And was still
Yeah, he was still trying to get up, and I'm all.
That's horrible. It wasn't a comp. It didn't come out of the skin right there. But that is nasty, man. So
it's nasty. What'd you say?
You've gone through that stuff, Max?
I've gone through a few broken things. I have a broken pinky, chipped elbow. It's kind of the nature of the beast. You know, one of the first things they ever teach you in Krav, which is really smart actually, is they make you first level 1 class. Put your hands behind your back. Somebody else put gloves on. Hit them in the face at 30 to 40% power. They go, because guess what? You're in fighting, you're going to get hit. Now, you're in a knife fight, you're probably going to get slashed or stabbed. You're in a gunfight, you might get shot. Just accept that is, I don't care how good you are, you're going to get hit. You're in a fight, you're going to get hit. You're in a fight professionally or on the street, you're going to get hit. So get used to the feeling. Yeah, and it was great. It was great. But, I will tell you that I have fought some people that are like Mayweather. This one dude, like 5'1" black dude, skinny, like probably 120 pounds. I would spar with him. I don't think I've ever landed a punch on him. He was like rubber, man. I would, and he wouldn't even block. He would just slip. And the next thing I know, wham, I'm getting hit in the side of the head. And I'm like, where the hell did that come from? Yeah, it's nuts.
That is.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Some people are just real good.
Who were, I don't know. Anytime I think about like UFC and MMA and stuff, when you were growing up, who were your idols? Who were your favorite fighters?
I mean, I was more when I was growing up, because I'm 36. When I was growing up, it wasn't so much MMA out there, really. It was really boxing. So I was really, I loved Tyson. Tyson was my man. He just, because it was so much fun to watch. I would have loved to go see him live when I was younger, because oh my God, his just power shots. He would just destroy people. That was just such a great thing to watch. As I got older, I watched McGregor. McGregor was one of my favorites in MMA. I watched a lot of the smaller, lesser known fighters too, because some of it actually, what's really great? I love watching the women fight. Like Ronda Rousey and everybody else, when they were fighting, they're some of the best. They are the most brutal. Forget men. They are way more brutal.
Yes, and a girl. The girls kick some freaking butt nowadays, man. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tron.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's the only sport that I really like to watch girls sports on, to be honest. Like the rest, it's like, everything else is like, okay. But girls MMA, I'll watch that all day. It's awesome. They beat the hell out of each other.
Pretty brutal, man.
Yep.
Just so you know a little background about us. So me, Tony, and Bama, we all worked together in a huge sports bar in Denver for years.
Nice.
South Denver.
We're still there.
Tony and Bama are still there. And I mean, you guys remember when they he still doesn't get UFC fights, right? Yeah. So back in the day, the old owner, he would get UFC fights. The place was just nuts. I mean, just packed, like standing room only events. I remember there was a Ronda Rousey fight. You guys remember that when?
Yeah, I was like Rousey,
There was one time Rousey was fighting like in Australia or somewhere on the other side of the world.
Probably home beat her butt though. I will say, yeah.
Remember the fight didn't start in Denver, Colorado until like midnight. And I just remember being there till like 3 a.m. that night because no one would go home until that fight went off, and just the place used to be a madhouse. But like I just kind of remember back to like when UFC first became a thing. The Ken Shamrock days.
I'll say, back then, now you didn't fight one match. You fought like 4 matches to get to the final. You fought the first round, second round, third round, you had the final. Like, with Shamrock, Tank, freaking Hoist.
Shamrock was awesome.
Man, back in the day, I love some Gracies. Yes.
UFC 1 was in Denver, Colorado, at old McNichols Arena.
That's right.
That's right, because that was the only place it was legal. Yeah.
Tony.
Yep.
Anything but eye gouging and ball punching. That's what they did. That was all.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
It was crazy back then. Tony, who was your favorite UFC fighters back in the day?
Jeez, man, there's been a couple. Gracie's got to be one of them. That's what intrigued me.
Horace Gracie, my favorite. Horace Gracie, baby. Yeah.
Man,
smallest dude like me.
What was his little name? The Iceman.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, man, I liked him a lot. And Tino, I never liked Tino.
Tino?
Yeah, I just didn't like him. She's Brock Lesnar. What a monster.
Oh yeah, Brock Lesnar.
Monster.
See, yep. I one thing I do kind of miss, and I totally understand why Dana White, kind of the UFC kind of became what it became. But back in the day, you go back in time 20 years ago, UFC night was kind of like the Super Bowl twice a year because they only put on big fights once every 6 months. And everybody would go, as a big pay-per-view event. Everybody would go to somebody's house. It'd be like, like a Super Bowl or like a Broncos game or something huge. Mm-hmm. You have a huge party once every 6 months, or you go to the bar, wherever. And then I think that, obviously money is, the bottom line of everything. They realized, well, maybe we should do this every 3 months. Maybe we should do this once a month. They started then there was UFC events all the time.
Yeah, that's what it is now. Yeah, you've got summer pay-per-view.
Yeah, watered it down.
Yeah, but they always have, I like the fact that it's not every 6 months now. You always got people fighting, bigger names, challengers coming up, belt this fight.
Yeah, this coming up weekend's going to be a big fight.
Yeah, I just remember back in the day, it was only big fights. I mean, I guess, it definitely expanded the sport to where a lot of fighters.
6-7 months for a big fight.
Yeah, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, it was only big fights. Like,
it's not the same person fighting every time. You always had it kind of staggered out now.
That's kind of what I'm saying is the lesser known fighters are able to get their name out there now. I would assume, because basically back in the day you only had 4 hours, so you're only able to get in 5, maybe 6 fights in that pay-per-view event. So if you weren't one of the top absolute elite dudes, you weren't going to be part of the pay-per-view event. Where now. I don't even know how they do it now. How do they do it?
No, that's still the same, brother. That is still the same.
It's still pretty much the same. Yeah, you have the undercard, but that's about it. Yeah.
But I know, but like basically they don't have the super mega events every month.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they'll still have like a big event where it's like the major fighter, like the biggest fighters in UFC will fight. Like a McGregor fight would be like a main card where it's going to be a huge event. Yeah.
How often do the big the top tier fighters need to fight nowadays?
It's usually one to two. Okay, here's 2 regular fights. Here's a medium fight. There's a pay-per-view. But then that next one, that one is for a couple title belts on the line, power ranking. It works up to it.
Well,
it's like almost like boxing. Look at when
you were one of the top tier fighters. How often are you expected to fight? I wonder.
Probably fighting like twice a year. If that,
yeah.
Okay.
You fight all the time because you gotta rest up and train for the next fight, right? Yeah. It ain't gonna be every few weeks, a couple times a year, heck yeah. And those are the big events they put up right now.
Right.
And then they're putting all these influencers like Jake Paul and everything else. Now they're trying to get more money out of it. And those are, just BS fights realistically. Because same thing when they wanted to put, we're gonna put Mayweather in Mayweather on UFC. I'm like, come on.
That's
you can't put a boxer. You can't cross them unless you're not going to let them use, put them to the ground or use kicks, which then defeats the purpose of boxing. So
Yeah.
When Mayweather and McGregor went at it, that was boxing only, correct?
Yep. And that was the same BS of going the other way because, like, okay, you're taking away Mayweather. I mean, McGregor's not trained. Yeah, he knows boxing, but he's not only a stand-up fighter. So you're taking away a lot of his weapons: ground fighting, elbows, knees, kicks. It's not fair. And you're giving somebody who's only trained in stand-up. Like, it just wasn't a fair fight. And that's why they're like, oh, then we're going to cross over and we're going to put Mayweather in the ring. Number one, Mayweather will never do that because he'll 100% lose and he'll hurt himself. And so I'll never do that in a million years. But again, it just wouldn't be a fair fight. It's apples to oranges. You can't. It's not the same sport. You can't do that.
See, I agree 100% what Max is saying about that because think about it. UFC comparing to real boxing. Man, if they fight 2 fights in 1 year, hey, that's usually if it's a major fight, it's one and then they start at the beginning of next year. You know what I mean?
That's about the fight itself.
Boxing
when
is
McGregor
so
fought,
much different.
you're tying McGregor's hand behind his back when he's doing the boxing.
Exactly right.
You're saying there, if you're doing a boxer going MMA, you're basically tying one of the boxers behind. Yes, it's not a fair fight. It's not.
So
no.
are you saying that Mayweather was thinking about doing MMA, no boxing with McGregor?
That is so tough. Mayweather would get his butt kicked in MMA.
So hard. And there was rumors, but it'll never happen. Again, because not only is he going to lose horribly and look terrible, and he's not a loser. He's very stuck up about winning. Not only that, he'll seriously hurt himself. He'll end up on the ground and he'll pull something in his arm and he might never be able to box again. So he would never risk that.
Yes, 100%. Hell yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
He's the most paid in sports today. All professional sports, he's number one on the block.
Yep, because he has a really good promoter that makes him in the spots where he doesn't get hurt, and he makes money.
That's exactly right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, right on. Max, we're gonna take a break real quick.
Yep.
And then we're probably going to dive into some other stuff. If you want to stay on.
I'm going to jump and grab something to eat, actually. But,
yeah. Thank you very much for coming on, Max. Love to have
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Right on, brother.
And basically, then as football season, as we dive into football season, once football season begins, then we are twice a week. Maybe even, this year we might be 3 times a week. It'll be Sunday morning.
So you're from the Bronx, so you've got to be a Yankees fan, right?
I am a Yankees fan. Definitely not a Mets fan because the only game I ever went to them when I was 11 and they lost like 20-1. I'm like, okay, I can't support them anymore. Not that I ever did, but I definitely can't.
So you haven't heard
the
Last of Us?
No, I'm not a Giants fan. I don't know. I keep switching my teams. Honestly, I don't have loyalty to teams for football in my state. Really, Yankees are my team for anything from New York. But I'm gonna bring Alex on too. I'll get her scheduled and we'll bring her on.
Bring on anybody you want. Because basically we're gonna have a lot of content to fill. We're gonna this football season. Sports and Tacos will be taking it to another level. So I know it'll be Sunday mornings before football. Cool. It'll be Monday nights and then possibly Thursday nights also.
Well, we'll bring Alex on to do some sports trivia because it'll be funny to watch a porn star totally miss everything.
Some sports logo trivia. It'll be great.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
She nails it.
That's true. She should nail it.
That would be crazy too. Yeah, she knows all of them. That would be awesome.
I would laugh really hard if she does.
So, all right. Well, cool, Max. Max, thank you very much for coming on today. And hopefully talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, you as well, brother. Right, man.
Later.
We'll take a quick break and then we'll dive into we got some decent topics for the rest of the show. So did you guys hear about that Broncos player getting 2 more players got suspended for gambling? NFL
I saw the big U. Yes.
So anyways, we're gonna take a quick break and then we'll dive into it.
All right, this is
Sports and Tacos. We got freaks out there. We got 4 of them. We got 5 of them. We got special guests. We got a man in the shower. We got a brainiac. We got a guy that looks like he's supposed to be on Sports Center. And then you got me. It's all about the TMP, Sports and Tacos.
Perfect. Who are the guys at Sports and Tacos? We're a bunch of sports experts who work together in a huge sports bar forever. And we know more sports than anybody in this entire world because we put our money where our mouth is.
All about having some fun, a little bit of sports knowledge from 3, 4, 5, 6 different folks, depending on the night. Let you know about what happened that day in sports. We'll get to it. Check us out, Sports and Tacos at YouTube.
Perfect.
All right, ladies and gentlemen in TV land, YouTube, Sports and Tacos, Mondays, Thursdays, and Sunday Fun Day. Come join us, YouTube, Sports and Tacos. Why Sports and Tacos?
All right. Well, I guess that's it for commercials. We happy to announce we have another new sponsor. We'll get their logo up here real quick. So I want to send a shout out to my friend Dawn Church, who she owns a company called Smoke Lab Vodka, and Smoke Lab Vodka is a new sponsor of Sports and Tacos. So I wanted to send a shout out to Dawn and tell her thanks. Next week's big show, Hammond Entertainment. Bill Hammond is going to be coming on next week, and that's super exciting. Always want to send a shout out to Mr. Dan Wolkin over at Memory Lane Incorporated. Memory Lane is one of the most reputable sports memorabilia auction house / dealers in the entire country. And also send a shout out to our friends Megan Johnson and Doug Plank. We're getting closer to football season, so we're going to be having a lot of old friends that we haven't seen in a while back on. So we're definitely excited to have Megan and Doug back on as soon as football season starts. Our buddy Ray Panetto over at Pro Signatures Memorabilia. Sure, Ray will be on coming up here pretty soon. Once hopefully eventing season slows down.
Awesome, Ellie De La Cruz at Ray's spot.
Yeah, and then Paul Pratt. Paul Pratt will be back on soon.
Paul.
With his super amazing NOAA water, the electrolyte injected NOAA water. So yeah, man, football season is right around the corner, guys.
Paul's going to want to come on too with his Detroit Lions. One of the hyped up teams coming up this year.
Yeah, the Lions fans, they've got to be as excited as they've been in 30 years. At least since the Barry Sanders era, right?
Barry Sanders, Megatron, and now they got something that's coming out in the light.
Because even Calvin Johnson, I think he only played in like one playoff game his whole career.
Probably so.
Yeah, the conference. I know it's not football we're talking about right now, but dude, the Packers are a Jordan Love led Packers now, not an Aaron Rodgers led, and that was always the freaking hump everybody had to get over in that division right there.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
Vikings,
not anymore.
Yeah, I don't think the Vikings.
The Vikings, but the Vikings get in there and just kind of, yeah.
I don't think they're scaring anybody.
No.
The Bears will be up and coming, but again, I don't think anybody's afraid of the Bears yet. By any means.
I don't know, but Mr. Doug might have something to say with that, huh?
Yeah, Doug might have something to say about it.
No, I know what you're saying right there, but yeah. But that is
for me,
open division, yes.
the Bears and the Seahawks are like teams to look out for in the next 2-3 years, but I don't think they're there yet. So dude, Paul's Lions could win that freaking division this year. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine the Lions making a playoff run?
They haven't said those words in a while.
And that was, what was it, NFL Network, like 92 or something like that? Last time they won the division and made a thing right there, something like that.
I can't even remember the last time the Lions won a playoff game. Have they ever won a playoff game?
Yeah. But they finished 8-2 last year. 8-2 last year they were showing. Yes, 8-2. That's a hell of a
They did make it
finish, yeah.
So, anyways, I just wanted to touch on. I saw that Broncos player. I mean, he got suspended for a year.
Gambling.
Yeah.
He probably won money betting against his Broncos, but
Well, I mean, we've talked about.
I'm just kidding, because everybody should have bet against the Broncos last year, unless you took the unders.
That was a pretty. that would have been a pretty easy bet, but with sports gambling becoming more and more legal, I think we're going to see this more and more often. And
here we go. You got to be smarter, man. You got to be smarter. You play a sport. You don't bet on that sport if that's what happened. I'm not sure what happened in this case, but in general, you don't. All right, I got a problem if they're betting on another sport besides theirs. But if they're betting on their sport, that is, taboo. Definitely don't do it. I don't care if you're hurt, you're betting against any other team. But other sports, like you're saying, man, everything is coming into gambling. Hell, every NFL team, is pretty much sponsored by a gambling spot. DraftKings, Betfred, MGM, Caesars, whatever.
Well, and that's kind of the point. It's in a way, it's kind of Pandora's box.
Yeah,
because
but how is that fair, though?
The leagues want the money. The leagues want that sponsorship money. They want the DraftKings money.
But you don't bet on your sport.
No, I understand that. But do they get suspended? They get suspended for gambling on anything, correct? I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to look that up. I mean, I know you definitely can't gamble. I felt like you can gamble in other sports when I was reading, as long as you can't be in like a team facility, of course, like your hometown, and that includes on the road at a hotel. You can't gamble on your phone in a hotel room on the road. You can't do that. But I'd have to double check, honestly. I'm not sure if it includes other sports besides your sport.
If you're an NFL player, and maybe this is even before DraftKings, say you're whatever, it doesn't even have to be an NFL player, just a professional sports player. Are you allowed to go to Vegas in the off season and bet on sports?
Well, ask Michael Jordan. He's had a pretty big debt number of years ago.
Yeah, and
a lot of players go to Vegas.
He's been in Atlantic City,
Hell, we just saw the number one pick, the dude from France, Wembanyama, in Vegas, and how occasion with Britney Spears' security team.
Right. But being in Vegas at the craps table is one thing.
Which he shouldn't be able to, because he's not 21. But I'm just saying, yes, if you're 21, yes, you can go to Vegas, yes. And
okay, I get that, but like once you sign an NFL contract, I just wonder if there's automatic stuff in there that says you can't be caught at the sports book in Vegas.
No, yes, sports book, yes. I'm pretty sure there's something you cannot be in a sports book. Yes, that's different.
Yeah.
That's not going to the tables and playing blackjack or 3-card poker or roulette or something like that.
But
see, and this is the other part that you guys maybe could help me out with. You know how Mayweather bets $10 million on a Super Bowl game? He's a professional. Why is he not getting in trouble?
I know. Then
that's not his sport.
That's the point
of stuff that's not your sport.
So these guys are probably betting baseball.
Well, so this is what I'm getting at.
Betting football is why they got in trouble.
That's the point. Is kind of Pandora's box in a way. Now that it's accessible to everybody on their phone at any time.
Well, not everybody. You've got to live in a certain states that do it. Not every state allows phone gambling. You have to be in a certain state.
That's a good point. But it just makes it so much easier,
Well, it does, yeah. But I mean, I don't care how easy it is. You know the rules as far as that goes. Don't bet on your sport.
Right.
Bet on anything else is fine. You can bet on March Madness, MLB, whatever, if you're a football player, vice versa. Yeah.
And
bet on your sport.
It's just,
don't go to sportsbook, period, if you're a signed athlete. That's kind of one thing from the NFL I remember reading about. I thought thought of seeing. Yeah, you can't even bet on anything, and just don't step foot in a sports book.
Right. So it just makes me wonder how many more of these suspensions. I mean, it's gonna be kind of a constant thing now. I think you're gonna see a lot more of it.
Yeah, well, no, that depends. I mean, are they just betting on football or other sports? Because I haven't heard what the Broncos dude got suspended for. I know the Lions guys were all betting on football. I know Calvin Ridley was betting on football. Right. I don't know about these guys. If they weren't betting on football, then they shouldn't really be suspended very long. But if they were betting on football, yes, they'll have the same thing.
And, you know, these suspensions, at least for the Broncos guy, he's suspended until July of next year.
Oh, it's indefinite. Yeah, I saw it was indefinite. I didn't even see a date yet. I thought it was indefinite.
Yeah, it was indefinite. I was reading basically he can't even think about coming back until July of next year.
And you shouldn't. You should know. You do not bet on a sport you're a professional of.
Athlete. Yeah. No, it's nuts. So.
Then again, like you're saying, you know friends in other sports. So how does you bet on another sport? Maybe you got
It just I'm sure it's gone on forever, but
we go back to the Pete Rose thing, dude. Come on, why is Pete Rose on the Hall of Fame right now?
It just wasn't. I assume it just wasn't as easy. You had to know like a bookie, or maybe you had to know somebody who knew somebody, sort of thing. Now it's just an app on your phone. Just like you're ordering an Uber, and maybe you were drunk one night,
When you sign that contract for the NFL, it will say you cannot make any kind of gambling, any kind of things with the thing. No sports books, no secondhand stuff. Nothing comes back to you for gambling. Especially, I'm assuming it's just for the NFL. Maybe it's for everything. I'm not really sure. I'll have to look at that.
And, but you got to remember, most of these athletes are kids in their
care. You cannot use the "I'm the kid" excuse right there. That is
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying the reality of it is you got kids, they got millions of dollars, and all they need is an app on their cell phone. Unlike back in the day where maybe you needed to call Guido. And,
if that's the case, Spencer, if you got all that money in your pocket and I got to do something with it, download Robinhood. Do stocks. Don't do gambling bets. It's the same thing as gambling, but don't do it on their sport.
Yeah, no.
That's not that hard to understand. I do not understand these guys getting suspended.
Here's my point, though.
Dumbfounding to me.
You're starting to
and I'm
see
a gambler.
You're starting to see a lot more of it.
I know, and it is the dumbest thing ever. That means the kids are freaking stupid.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Be smart. Know what you're doing. The league tells you, your team tells you, don't do this, don't do this.
Yeah.
But they do it anyway. Yeah, it makes no sense.
It's very easy now. So, I wonder, it makes me wonder too about like college even, because there's one thing to be an NFL player, but now you could, where you're probably more likely to have games being thrown is in college. Somehow, some way. Just because they're the ones there, there's an incentive there to make some big bucks if you're not making big bucks. If you're an NFL player and you're getting $10 million a year, what are you doing? But if you're a college kid and you're not an NIL kid, and especially like in the sport like basketball, where you and your buddies, so then here's a scenario. Say you're a college basketball kid and one of your buddies on the team is getting big NIL money. Nobody else on the team is. And, let's say you're the kind of shady kid on the team, and you get a little jealous. I know how I'm going to make my NIL money. It's just
you're going to let people say, throw the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just saying it's just with the legal gambling now, and it's just an app on your phone. It's that easy to do it, So,
well, no, it's that easy to make the bet, but if you're talking about that scenario, then they've got to actually perform on the court or the field, and they've got to shoot that out right there. And no.
I mean, just saying, it's that easy to where you just punch in the app on your phone, go out, miss a bunch of free throws, miss a bunch of shots, the game goes under, That's all they were,
It's
you know.
yeah. No,
Hey, Shotgun, you just said it earlier, man. You just nailed it. You put it on. See, they put those sites out where everybody in the world can play it. Guess what? Professional teams, professional players, they want to play too. But now they're the only ones that's out of it. Where, you know what? I'm not going to knock. I would rather have their money because you know what? They're betting $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $1 million a game. We're only betting 10, 5.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, in like
But
in
no, what I'm
college.
saying is I think the whole thing is
Yeah, but it's not going away, and it's only going to become. You're only going to see more and more of these
every
suspensions.
team is sponsored by a gambling network now. I mean, you have like mid game breaks about what the odds are. Oh, well, now it's fourth inning.
And
it's
that
25 now. Yeah.
that is the Pandora's box.
No, it's not Pandora's box. It's called
It's
common
absolutely
freaking sense.
Pandora's
It's called
box.
common
It
freaking
is.
sense, man.
If you are the owner, it's common sense from the players, but the owners, it's greed. You understand? They want that gambling sponsorship money. But,
Yes, you're a
okay,
player.
that's great. That's great.
You don't do that.
You take the check from the gambling company, and then the next day your star player gets suspended because he got caught gambling. Pandora's box.
I'm not going to say that can't happen. I will not say that will not happen right there. But that.
So, anyways, sports gambling.
That's way on the back end right there, Spencer. But it will happen, I'm sure.
Well,
We've seen it happen over the past. We've seen it happen over the years. Yes, we've seen it happen.
That's and I'm sure.
I just think everything's so much linked up nowadays that it's going to be hard for somebody to kind of manipulate stuff without knowing there's going to be a trail back to you. So I feel like people are a little less engaged in doing that.
I think that's how they're catching these guys, is because everything's digital. There's a digital paper trail.
Yeah, you've got everything. Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
they know where you're at.
There's no more going to the payphone and calling Guido.
No. Yeah, no.
No, man, they took a break. They work in the florist department now.
Yeah. They own the app. They own the apps now.
They own the floors, and that's laundering money right there.
They're not dumb. They got in before.
Now they have
everybody
to
else.
really work.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's a crazy world we're living in. This NIL stuff. Who knows? Again, if you're on again, it's one thing on a college football team to have, because that's a big team. You got 100 players, but a college basketball team where you got maybe 20 kids who are all just normal players, and one kid's rolling up in a Ferrari every day because he's getting the NIL money, you might get a little jealous.
I will say this though, now, Spencer. Yes, I can see that maybe in that circumstance. Yes, but you got to understand the kids are there to get an education first. Most of them, 90% are. So the dude that's not getting a lot of money, but is still getting that free education, he ain't gonna be that pissed off because he knows if I don't get drafted, I still have this to go on right here.
If he's a good kid.
What's that?
If he's a good kid. There are bad apples.
No. There's always. I'm not even saying there's. Yeah, even the bad apple has that mindset right there. I'm getting mine regardless. This dude can do what he wants, and he'll be broke in 10 years, 5 years, but I'm going to have this, and I'll be set for the rest of my life. It's different, same mindset.
Yeah.
That's how you're looking at it.
It's crazy. So, anyways.
He did that, and look who he is now.
We got training camp is right around the corner. I don't really want to dive too much into football yet because, obviously we got.
We're not there yet. It's baseball.
We're not there yet. It is baseball.
It's called World Cup. Women's World Cup. No, that's not.
Just looking at the standings, still surprised. The Orioles are now 2.5 games ahead of the Rays, dude. That's crazy.
And Spencer, they literally just had a weekend set, 4-game set, Baltimore at Tampa, and Baltimore won 3 out of 4 to stay 2 games ahead.
After that,
I told you earlier this year that we were talking about which teams were legit, Cincinnati or Baltimore. And I said Baltimore's the more legit team. I still stand by that.
Cincinnati, dude.
And that number 1 college pick, Gunner, he's got 15 home runs, 34 RBIs right now. I looked him up this morning.
For a rookie season. And another
That's
thing.
Not bad for a rookie season.
Is the American League East. the greatest division in the history of ever?
I don't know about ever, but right now it is, dude. Every team, the last place, what is it? Boston and New York. Boston, New York are tied for the last right now, and they're like 6 games over 500.
Both of those teams
would be winning some divisions and definitely in the playoff race if they were in the National League.
They would be in first place in the AL Central.
Yeah,
and they were in last place. In the AL
last
League.
place. What? Yeah.
Every team.
It's crazy right now. Yeah, that division, Spencer, I'm glad you brought that up. That is the craziest division.
Every team in that division is at least 6 games over 500.
Yeah, every team, top to bottom. There is no other league in that. I'm gonna go with that. No other league I can think of in history has ever done that right there.
I can never remember that happening.
But it ain't gonna finish out that way.
No, it won't finish out that way. I just
below 500 by the end of the year. But
I've been looking at baseball standings my entire life, and I have never seen a division that looks like that.
No, and dude, we are like a month after the All-Star break almost, and it's still that way.
Yeah, it's almost August.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I was even kind of bullshit. They should wipe out the wild card, just put all 5 AL East teams in, and the one division winner that's got the best record between the Central and the West. That's because all 5 of those AL East teams are just nobody wants to play.
And I don't know the rules now that they have the expanded wild card. But
there's three wild cards. There's 3 wild cards.
So with 3 wild cards, how many? Could all 3 come out of the same division?
Well, yeah, they could. The American League East could have 4 out of 5 in the playoffs. The division winner and the 3 wild cards they could have right now.
I mean, probably that wouldn't necessarily happen, but it's possible.
Which I don't. Yeah, they're going to beat each other up by the end of the year, I figure. So somebody's going to drop out. But yeah, that legitimately could happen. Yeah.
All right. So are you guys? Are you buying or selling the Rangers? I mean, they're still 3 games above.
Oh man, that is so crazy. The Rangers are the gorilla team I like right there. That I don't know how to go against the Astros, but if I had to go against them, it's going to be with these Rangers.
One thing about the Rangers, they have nobodies for relief pitchers, and they're winning.
They do. They even just traded one of their relief pitchers to Atlanta today.
And then
they are doing well.
And then their mid pitchers. It's unbelievable. You're just going, and they're playing the Tampa Bays. They're playing. They're playing.
No, dude, they're in the Astros, the Mariners division. That is 2 teams that were supposed to whoop their butt. But not to mention the freaking
with the Astros,
the Angels are in division too, I think.
This is the time Astros get hot. All the time. This is the time that they get hot. Let's see what happens.
Really, that's actually 4 good teams there.
I guess I'm rooting for the Rangers just because. I mean, when's the last time the Rangers were actually good? It's been a while.
Well, they went to back-to-back World Series in like 10 years ago, something like that.
It's been a while. It's been like a decade or so since they were, good. They were supposed to be good, but
I was saying before, I always thought the Astros would come back and take them over, but I am not really 100% sold on that anymore, dude. I think from what I've seen, dude, the Rangers are a good team.
Yeah,
even though they've had a lot of their pitch, their best pitcher was Jacob deGrom. Signed him the huge deal from the Mets, was a free agent after the Mets. Came over to Texas and pitched a month and has been hurt ever since. But yet they have not missed a beat.
No.
And that is really crazy right there.
I'm impressed by them,
And deGrom ain't coming back this year. He's done.
But you also got to look at Houston Astros. They still got
little money's on the Astros.
But, this is the time that they start shining. And when they start shining, guess what happens? Things happen. Wins happen. Victory. It seems like Houston.
It's all about.
Kind of like this, the NL Central. When Cincinnati jumped up and Milwaukee was behind, I always thought Milwaukee would kind of step up, kind of creep up. They have. It's going to be a tight fight with them in Cincinnati. I kind of look like that going with Houston and Texas right now. But I love Texas, the young guys. I got a couple on my fantasy baseball team. I just think the Astros, over the course of the next 60 games, are going to trug over 2 or 3 games. They're going to take them over and win the division.
No, I assume you're still 100% sold that we might as well give the Atlanta Braves the World Series title right now.
I was 100% last week. Now I'm like 99.95 because our bullpen sucks.
Yeah.
So we need to get a little bullpen help, but we did make a trade today. Like I said, actually a couple days. Tavares from Texas today. We made a trade for one of their guys. And
I'm starting to notice, the Dodgers all of a sudden are.
Oh, we will outscore anybody out in that freaking game, man. The Braves will out
in
that league. Yes.
It's one of those seasons where, with the Dodgers, this could be the kind of Dodgers team that does go deep.
That's kind of like the Astros right now, Spencer. I'm looking at. They've
faced adversity,
trying to get, and the Dodgers have been kicking some butt lately. They really have.
And and then the funny thing is, the ones that are coming finally back to earth is the Diamondbacks.
They're really,
they've been losing a couple games,
win
good, and lose a couple games. Good. They're falling down again. But you know what? Never on them. Just like the Padres.
No, the Padres are done. Sell Padres. You're done for the year. Get rid of Soto.
Isn't that insane? Which leads me to my next and last topic. If you're the Padres and you're sellers, where does freaking what's his face go?
Soto?
No, not Soto.
Ohtani.
Well, that's not the Dodgers. That's the Angels.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is, it's scary. Okay, so it sounds like
he goes to the Dodgers
or the Yankees.
Nope. Yankees are not enough to take. He goes to Soto. If Ohtani goes, he goes to the Dodgers.
But the team that could give him the most is, I assume, the Padres.
Is who?
They were talking about the Padres. The Padres could instantly.
But the Padres suck, dude. They are so far back right now and playing like crap. There's no way this dude who wants to win this year goes to the Padres. No chance. No chance. Padres are done.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily up to him where he goes, right?
He does not want to go to the Padres.
You don't think?
It's all up to him.
Yeah, maybe. But I'm just saying, because they were talking about how.
Man. If Ohtani leaves the Angels, it's going to be for the Dodgers or the freaking like Yankees or something. I feel like it'll be the Dodgers more than anybody. But I feel like he stays there.
The Padres could give them Soto and like Snell right now.
I don't see the Dodgers or the Padres making that move. If you're going to trade for Ohtani, you don't give away your other best player to get. Yeah. Even freaking board, the ghost just knocks stuff down in the room here. No. If you're Ohtani, you're the Angels rather, you do not go to a team and give up half the people you were going to go to play with just to get in return for you to come there. You don't give up them. No. He's not going to go to a team that's going to give up any big names. He's going to go to a team that gives up prospects, and that's pretty much it. Yeah. If he goes anywhere, I think he stays. I'd love for him to go, but I think he stays.
Well, have you guys heard anything? I mean, we're a week from the trade deadline. Are they dumb to where they keep?
Ohtani wants to win, and if you trade him to the Padres and give up Soto, that is not wanting to win. That's building for the future.
No, I know, but I haven't heard anything.
No, that's what I'm talking about. What I've heard. Yes, yeah. Tony's already said, "I want to win. I want to win. I want to win. I want to win right now." So that mentality, if he was to get traded for Soto and those guys from the Padres, that is not wanting to win now because you're getting rid of part of your big talent right there. He's not going to the Padres. If he goes anywhere, it's going to be the Dodgers.
So, yeah, if he ends up a Dodger, I mean, that's scary for –
And they could give up like Muncy, some of these guys, maybe some of the pitchers that are hurt right now, or, Buehler or something like that. But no. But I really don't see anybody giving up enough to get him, right, honestly.
But
if you trade for Ohtani, you're going to have to trade half your team away.
They have to trade him, or he becomes a free agent, and they could get nothing for him.
Well, yeah, that's true. But who the hell is going to take him and have him give up half their team when they know they can maybe outbid him in the freaking offseason right there?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He's not staying with the Angels next year. That will not happen.
No.
He will not be an Angel next year.
No, he's not going to be an Angel. But
why would I be the Dodgers or the Yankees and give up all my prospects and this for a chance at this year if you don't want to sign for what I'm offering? Then next year's the free agent. Then we can offer money, and yeah,
dude, craziness.
It's either prospects now or money later. Depends on what the Angels want and what. I don't know if Ohtani has like a no trade. I would assume not, being probably in his rookie contract or something like that. But
yeah,
it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. I hope he doesn't go to somebody crappy like.
Who do you think it's going to be, Tony?
Oh man, there's so much up in the air, man. Because right now, just like what Bama said, he wants to win right now. He's already accomplished a lot of things that people are not going to do for a long time. You know what he wants? He wants a win. He wants a ring. He wants something that's going to make things happen. And right now, he's discovering the teams that could afford him, could take him. God, I don't want to push for the damn Dodgers, but you know what? They got a lot to give up, and they can give it up, and they have some money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy, and it's going to affect.
I really do hope though he gets traded to a playoff team because I don't see the Angels being a playoff team. I'd like for Mike Trout to get traded also. I know that's just a wish list.
Imagine that.
Imagine to actually play meaningful games in October.
Imagine in 1 week, Ohtani becomes a Dodger and like Mike Trout becomes a Yankee.
That would be exciting to me right there. Yeah, because that means that the Angels have.
And if you're the owner
they tried. They did really good trying to get. They got Rendon. Signed him a big name after he won the World Series in Washington. Tony Trout. That's some big names right there. But then nothing pans out, man. Get rid of them.
Yeah, and if you're the owner of the Angels, you're going to be known as the guy that traded the second coming of Babe Ruth.
Well, he's the the old Yankees guy that traded Babe Ruth to the Red Sox guy that traded Babe Ruth to the Yankees.
Yeah.
I'll be him.
For a ballet thing.
Yeah,
he'll get more than that
or something, and like
he'll get like $1 billion or something.
That's freaking nuts. All right, well, cool guys. Let's wrap this up. But I'm gonna end the live, but stay on here. Let's chat for a second. So, all right, thanks everybody for another amazing Dog Days of Summer episode of Sports and Tacos. Things are about to get real. Stay tuned.